sweet babies! Welcome to part 2 of a 3-part series. Hopefully you didn't miss part 1, which is the meat and potatoes. It's all about the fundamentals, the myths, and power dynamics at ABDL conventions and meetups. This one's going to be a lot shorter. In this one, we're going to talk about what good consent looks like with a couple of examples. And then we're going to talk about what you can do when consent is violated, and then where the responsibility lies. Is it the conventions? Is it us? Is it everyone? Oh, as always, this video is brought to you by moi. Maybe we'll get a sponsor one day, who knows? But for the time being, please feel free to leave a little super thanks, or better yet, join our YouTube story time. You've heard it before. It's amazing. It's wonderful. It's only $5 a month. It's like, you get so much good karma. But as I was saying, let's get back into the video. So hopefully I didn't scare everybody off with the first video and have you thinking that like, everybody is like a predator when you're going to these meetups or conventions, and that's not true. Or you're thinking, oh my God, every little thing that I'm going to do is going to offend someone. That's not the case either. I was really just trying to get across how sometimes really innocuous behaviors can actually cross boundaries. And so that's what we don't want to do. It's all about trauma-informed consent. Not everybody has the same backgrounds, and there are a lot of folks in this community who come from trauma. So we just want to make sure that everybody is having a great time, including ourselves. It's just really important that we talk about this, that we have an open dialogue, and then maybe if you have some feedback in the last video or in this one, it would be great if you left them in the comments below. I think we all need to come together to like take responsibility for this and let everybody know where we're coming from and give people ideas of what to do, not just what not to do, but what to do or how to approach folks. Before we get started, in the first video, I talked a lot about intent and how really a lot of it is how you're approaching folks. I think a really great rule of thumb is that when you're approaching littles with whom you want to engage is to like look at them as your little sibling. Even if the ABDL community is kink-based for you, even with that, start off just on that kind of non-sexual footing, because then after you start communicating, again, it's all about communication for consent. Once you start communicating, you can kind of see where you both are and what you guys are actually both interested in, right? But it's always best to just proceed with caution and respect. So let's say you see a little sitting over there and they're super cute. You're interested in just hanging out with them, seeing what's up. What do you say? How about, is this okay? Is it okay if I sit with you? Intent goes a lot into it. Is it okay if I sit with you? Is very different than, is it okay if I sit with you? Like, ew. Or, it's okay if I give you a hug, or do you need some space? So like when you're meeting someone in your group of people, like, you know, are you okay? Can I give you a hug? Are you in little mode right now before you have that conversation? What are you doing? You know, kind of check in with them, see where they are like mentally and in what space, and wait. If they're in little space, be cool. Be chill. Don't be too like over the top until you can pull them out. It's just something too that you can pull out and you can be like, hey, you let me know if you want. I wanted to talk to you about some stuff. So let me know when you're okay to talk. Let them have their little space. The convention is a time where, I mean, a lot of folks aren't able to be little as much as they want to. So convention is a time for people to be little. So if folks aren't, leave them be. When they're big too, or in an older space, you can just be like, you know, are you interested in like a, you know, caregiver little thing? Like, are you interested in playing, or you just want to hang out or whatever? It's okay, I think, to ask people that, again, depending on how you are saying stuff. I would go so far as if you are really scared and you might want to try this. If you're really scared and you're not sure how you're coming across and you are interested, maybe write a very note that just says, hey, are you interested in this? And just like slip it to them and see what happens. If you find that they react in a weird way, just be like, I'm sorry. I always apologize and be like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bother you. I'm sorry. And then just kind of like walk away. It's going to be hard. And if because sometimes you're going to get rejected. And that's really hard, especially if you're like new to this and you're just trying to make friends and you just want to play. It's hard, but I think that we need to normalize asking and talking and having these open communications and like, you know, just the whole idea of just communicating and talking with one another. I think for the most part, unless you've really, really triggered, for whatever reason, triggered someone, I think people are really open to like an understanding of people just trying to make friends there and like coming up and being like, hey, do you want to play? And if they've, you know, bothered you or whatever, and they notice and they apologize, I think people are pretty open to that, I would hope. for the most part, people are there to try and make friends, and like, unless, you know, they're there with other people, but people tend to be kind of open to that if they're going to conventions and meetups. I mean, meetups, it's called a meetup, right? There are times where people are just going to like be with their partners. But I think everyone's like tends to be, in my experience, they've been pretty open to just friendliness, you know, not creepiness, friendliness. That being said, if someone does do something that's inappropriate, that makes you feel uncomfortable, you don't need to be polite. I mean, I think it really depends on the situation. Everything is going to depend on the situation. If someone is truly like, just seems like a nice person, and they do something and, you know, say something that like, you're like, oh, okay, buddy. And you tell them, and they are like really apologetic, I think kindness goes a long way, and compassion. But if they do something and they continue, or if they're not really listening, you do not need to be polite at all. It is okay for you to just stop and give them a dirty look, give them whatever, say no, anything like that. That's okay. I had experience at one convention where I had an issue with some unwanted interaction, I shall say. And the convention staff was amazing. Conventions usually have, because they're bigger, they usually have staff like counseling staff, they have security, they have all kinds of stuff. They are prepared. They are very prepared for almost anything and everything. So do not be afraid to talk to convention staff, to talk to security, because they do have people specifically for things like this. Please don't be afraid. Like I was saying, I've had, it's terrible when this stuff happens where you're getting unwanted attention and people aren't taking the hint or hearing your nose. It's a very difficult situation to be in, and it's very embarrassing, and you can feel very small, and not the good small, but very small and unable, powerless. But I can tell you from experience that the conventions that I've been to, I'm going to actually put a shout out to CapCon specifically, that the people that I worked with there were really amazing and very kind, and really actually did something about it. So that was really good. And I felt very heard. I felt a lot safer because I didn't feel safe before then. And I felt not so scared. And that's really important, because when stuff like that happens, the fear is pervasive, and the fear continues beyond just that one person, right? I would even say, like, if you're too scared to talk to security or anyone, talk to one of your friends or someone that you trust in the community, and maybe have them talk to them, or just, talk about it. Don't be afraid to talk about it, because things can be done. Things can be done. And even in the case of someone who's there who doesn't quite know what they're doing, if you go under the assumption, I'm not talking about like obvious non-consensual touching. I'm talking about people who are like just kind of being mildly inappropriate or whatever. Even if you talk to someone, if people talk about it, people who don't know how are they going to learn if they don't know, if they're never told that what they're doing is inappropriate? It doesn't mean that you have to be a complete about it, but like, don't be afraid to communicate and to speak your truth and to hold your own space, because you have every right to be there, and your body is your body, right? If you witness it. No, depending on what happened, I think it is okay, like, to check in with that person. Again, it depends on who you are. I'm going to go as far. Depends on who you are. To check in with that person, to validate what they're going through, and to contact staff yourself. And that might be more comfortable for the person if it's coming from a staff or someone in the counseling department. Convention organizers have a huge responsibility to set up clear consent policies, to train their staff, and to set up a culture of communication and to talk about that. I think that as time goes by, conventions and meetup spaces are doing more to try and help. For instance, last year or the year, I can't remember when it was, they started doing buttons where it was like yellow, red, green. I think if we can do something where we make that more visible, or people actually know what that means, I think that can go a long way to help with consent issues, because if someone's wearing a red button, you need to stay away from them. You know what I mean? I think that would be very helpful. But really, conventions can only do so much. It really does come down to individual people, and individual people taking responsibility for their actions, and to be respectful and empathic and communicative. Talk to people. Conventions, these spaces are so important and mean so much to almost everyone that goes there. I think with each one, we learn more about how to make places better, but it's up to us. You know, a lot of these places are volunteer run and they can't be everywhere at once. They're doing this in their own free time. So it's really up to us to monitor ourselves and to learn as much as we can about being just good people, being good ABDL folks, you know, coming from places of love and places of acceptance and compassion, recognizing that not everybody is going there for the same reasons, that we want to create a safe environment for everyone who's there because we're all there just to have fun. I mean, it starts with us, right? So hopefully this didn't bum you out too much because there's a way to do it. And when you do it right, it works out so well and it is so fun. It is so fun, right? So this is not just a video about bumming you out and scaring you, which it probably did. It's about finding ways to have healthy communication with other people so that you can engage in these fun play spaces. These are unique places that are so magical once everything is working out, right? Is there anything that I missed? If I missed anything, please leave it in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me. I would highly suggest that people go to meetups and conventions if they can. They're super fun. I tend to go to, not always, when I can, when I'm feeling well, I go to the Social of Age Players, which I highly recommend. Calum runs that. Love me some Calum. He's always there to try and welcome everybody and have everybody have a good time. He's very good with consent stuff. Also recognize that with our community and with most dungeon communities, consent is so key that like they have zero tolerance policies where if you violate consent, you are banned, you are out of there. So consent is very, very important. Muy importante. So make sure that you are well aware of that. Pretty soon, I wanted to get this out before CAP 2026. I wanted to get this out before we go so that everyone has a chance to like have a really great time and we don't have any issues there. I am not part, as an aside, I'm not part of CapCon. I do that intentionally because I'm always like running stuff. I like to just go and have a good time. And I do. And I do. So they have their own abide, don't listen to me. If they have different policies, don't listen to me. Abide by their policies. That goes with any other convention that you go to. Abide by their policies. This is just for general consent things. If you have any questions, feel free to put them down below. Thank you so much for joining me. Consider sharing this with folks who you think might benefit from it. Post it, do all of the things, get the word out there. I also have a bunch of other videos on conventions, how to prepare, what to do after when you're crying and huddled in a corner. Saying not that that's gonna happen, but sending love and besitos to you. I'm so sorry that it's been a while. All right, babies, I love you so much. Have a great afternoon or day or whatever, and I will see you on the next one.